All right. I think we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start this. I've been saying for forever I want to make it a general thing that I do Facebook Live every day. It needs to start happening. Um, and I think it will. I think this today's project is gonna be a big start of that, even if it's just me. Since I'm doing more off the cuff content, like I'll talk about in a minute, I'm gonna be Facebooking live and YouTubing live those recordings. I think YouTube Live, I think, is definitely going to be some of that is going to be added to. But we got about 3 or 4 people here. I wish I could see who. That's the weird thing. I'm not sure how I have the setup um, where I can see who's there. If you leave a comment, I'm assuming I can see it. Um, Although I'm not completely sure how that works. Um, just with the way that I have this streaming to Facebook right now. But anyways, let's get started. So the big things on the docket I wanted to talk about today are pretty significant. But this is the big one. Never thought I'd get here. The man who watched Batman Volume 4. The new Batman Adventures. I never, and it sounds like such a cliche, I never thought I would get here. 110 episodes over the course of 3 years and change, all the way through the greatest Saturday morning cartoon show of all time. And over the next couple of weeks, I'm hopefully going to be able to talk about a lot more of what that means, what it's meant to be creatively, what it's meant to what I want to do as a creator. But for now, what that's going to mean is what I'm going to be talking about here. I'm going to start this out with a pre-prepared statement, and then we're going to go from there. Just be talking about, oh, hi, kitty. I wish I could adjust the camera. My cat is hanging out in the background there. I'm going to go through this statement here, and that'll let you guys know what's going on with different projects. So here we go. I've been in creative flux a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong. That's not to say that I've been doing nothing. Corpse Corp #1 releasing and finally completing the Man Who Watched Batman series were dreams come true for me, and I'm really proud of that. But outside of that, the what's next question began to haunt me. Long story short, I've been in creative spurts this year amidst a massive creative burnout. Luckily on comic and book writing fronts, I am still very far ahead of schedule, so that gives me time to work on other projects, to try to keep myself feeling sustained, fulfilled. I have been wide open to the possibilities, but sadly the burnout has lasted literal months longer than I intended. Stuff like this is expected, but not. I haven't burnt out this bad in a long time. So now I feel like for the billionth time over, I feel a need to rebrand Deadman Inc. and try to define what Deadman Inc. means, what I want to do with it, so on and so forth. So what the hell does that actually mean? The main thing for the most part is I want to actually be able to have an elevator pitch for that question. What is my channel? What is it that I want to do? In the past, I've left it super vague as just a grab bag of a bit of everything that I've tried to work on. A Disney podcast, Bon Voyage, several different failed gaming podcasts, a rebranding Dead Men Tell All Tales in different forms again and again and again, none of them working. Even now, preparing to rebrand it again, I was up until recently. But now I think I have a better idea of what I want to do. I sat back and listened to my fellow creators. listen to what worked for them, what they suggested. And the main thing that it came down to was trying to do something that is not only unique, but something you specifically feel that you have an expertise and a unique perspective on. Because if you have that, don't have that, you don't have anything. This also was going alongside advice I had gotten from a fellow creator friend of mine, Casey Pierce, about making a more personal side of my creative professional endeavors. When mulling that over through my mind, that always brought me back to Saturday morning cartoons. Cartoons are the very much the center of almost all of this. The Man Who Watched Batman, specifically, but it's all, and the Saturday morning cartoon series, Morning Fever series, I've tried for a very long time. But so it made sense for me to try to wrap my already in the works reworking of Saturday Morning Fever into a simpler format, alongside, other kind of Saturday Morning Fever related spin-off things I've been debating for a while. And I wanted to make that more of a main focus. I had my creative spark and my elevator pitch. So to say, what is it that I do online? I make in-depth content about Saturday morning cartoons. So what is that content per se? Well, Saturday morning cartoons, Saturday Morning Fever, the show as you may know it, is going to be a less scripted and less edited to appeal to a more casual vlog, where my main focus returns to where I wanted it. Less a review show per se, but a way to remind people of those shows where, either the shows they watched in their youth, but also be able to recommend shows that they may have missed. I've always wanted Saturday Morning Fever to be a recommendation show, and I never felt I could get that quite right. And I think this change in format, fingers crossed, is going to finally be what I want that to be. As for the Dead Men Sings content I've been doing lately, as far as the karaoke videos and stuff like that, I'm still going to be doing that, but I'm also going to be adding a separate part of it that's going to be kind of like a Saturday Morning Sings segment, where I'm going to be doing covers of famous Saturday morning cartoon show themes that I love. And not only will these be a fun challenge for me to do, but also it's a lot more YouTube friendly, might help me be able to get caught in a couple more search algorithms, that kind of thing. And I just think it might be a really fun way to do it. On the podcast front, I've tried all sorts of podcast ideas. I've really wanted to be a podcaster, and I still do. But to be able to find the right one that works for me. And outside of Bon Voyage, which has worked, even though now it has sort of become a show that we do once in a blue moon rather than being scheduled, I hope that this next idea I'm going to be able to do will be a cornerstone of what I want this endeavor to be. And that is to make a Saturday Morning Fever podcast. The idea will be that there is a podcast that I have a rotating group of hosts, fingers crossed, that discuss cartoons, new, old, bad, WTF, American, Japanese, and everything in between. Some weeks will be on lighter topics and some more serious. I want to get constant new people on, get them talking about their favorite shows, what they grew up with, sharing their memories and their perspectives. Because it's a genre that many people, just based on the way this created, that people feel is disposable, that's not worth discussing, that it's not worth serious discussion. And the main crux I want to do with this Saturday Morning Fever brand, with this Dead Men Inc. brand, is to change that perspective, to change that perception. This is going to be quality over quantity. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do these once every 2 weeks, even once a month. But I want this to be consistent. And if that means I have to do it a little bit less often, then so be it. Some of these might even be going solo if I have to. It's not my ideal format, but we will make this a consistent thing. I really do want to make this a thing that people are really going to grab onto. I hope you guys will join me on this next chapter. As a creative, I always want to challenge myself. And sometimes you need to make some drastic changes in order to get yourself out of these creative funks, creative and emotional funks. And I'm hoping that we're going to if we're using the proper cartoon lingo, that this is the reboot that I've been desperately needing for a long time now. So I want to thank all of you guys who've checked in here, even just for a moment. I'm hoping that you guys will come back after this video is done, maybe watch this in entirety and check out what we're doing. I want to thank my friend Lacey for opening up about her creative burnout. I know that's something that she's been talking to me and a couple of friends about online lately. The other thing connected to this is going to be something I've been debating for a while, is actually starting talking about the Saturday Morning Fever Patreon again. The Dead Men Inc. Patreon, I mean, is something that I made it, but I didn't really expect it to get anywhere. I was really pushing it. But now I feel like I've got a format, if I can encourage this to be a thing where I'm making enough content that it's worth it, that people wouldn't mind dropping me $1 to help cover, either podcast hosting fees, or stuff like that. Like even $15 is what it costs me a month to host my podcast. It costs about $30 a month to cover all of my software and stuff. So if I could even get that much, hopefully if people like the content I make, like, don't just take pity on me. I want you to look at the content I'm making, and I want you to be brutally honest about it. And if it's something that you like, it's something you want to invest in, then I want to encourage you to do it. And I'm really hoping that that will be something that people think is worth it. That I'm hoping that content will be something that people think is good enough. In the meantime, if you want to check out my content, if you want to see more of my content, all my links online are /DeadmanInc. Whether it be Facebook, Patreon, SoundCloud, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Going to be doing more YouTube streaming as well, hopefully coming up soon. But if you want to check out, just drop my phone. If you want to check this out, if you want to check out any of the books in the Man Who Watched Batman series, those are available on Amazon. Unfortunately, I can't get it to Amazon.deadmaninc. I will be dropping a link in the chat here if you guys want to check out that stuff too, where all my stuff is located. But with that, I'm going to leave this open for a few more minutes. If anybody has any other questions, people to pop in. If not, then you'll find all my links to stuff in the chat below. I want to thank you guys for showing up, and hopefully you guys will be seeing a lot more from me in the coming weeks. The first new episode of Saturday Morning Fever will drop tomorrow, where I'll be improvisingly trying to sum up all my opinions on Batman the Animated Series in a matter of about 10 minutes. So good luck with that. So I'll be around for a few more minutes if you have any questions, but look forward to my links below. Thank you guys very much.